Okay, so we're gonna do this Space Marine Captain. It's a Primaris Captain, one of the new ones. I've actually got them all airbrushed, and here, give me a second. I'm gonna show you a completed one, and then I'm gonna show you the paints I've used already. So here's the completed one. It's just a test model, but you can see he's very shadowed. The light blue is in the right spots. I even did the lens for his stalker bolter. So there he is. So now I'm gonna come back and I'll show you the paints. Okay, so here are the paints. These are the three main blues. Basically, you take just black primer, and then you start with this steel blue from Belcher. That's your base coat. And then on the top, you can kind of see on him, just kind of on top, wherever the light's coming from, so it's literally direct. On top of the knees, the back of the legs. You do this magic blue from Vallejo Game Air. And then you go back over, because this usually covers way too much and turns it really, really blue. You come back in with the steel blue, and then you darken it up. You can kind of see where I did that here, where I came back in and I actually hit it back here and under here. This is all the second coat, not the first one. And then after that, once that's done, you come in with a tiny bit of electric blue to brighten it up in certain spots. Like the very top of his forehead, very top of the backpack, shoulders. And then for any of the cloth, I'll show you on the actual thing here. So I prime them black just because it's easiest to make sure I've got the model primed. But then I'll go back over and I'll prime it or base coat it white. But then after the white, you do a base coat of a secondary coat of Stonewall Gray. And then I just got thin to use Shop T-Bone, which is an off-white. And that's what does this nice tint. It's very clean, but there we go. So now I'm going to go into, and actually, if you look at the box art here, you can see it's actually red here. So I'm actually going to paint that. So it's a very bright red. I don't think mine's going to be quite that bright, but pretty close. So I'm going to do some scale color paints, just because of the way the reds flow. Actually, you know what? I won't. I'm going to take a quick second to think. I'll come back and I'll use some Games Workshop paints. Okay, this will be the easy part. It's just three reds. Corn red for the base, Viston red for the second layer, and then Evil Sun Scarlet for the third. But I'm going to do actually 5 layers, so it'll be first layer, second layer, third layer, fourth layer, fifth layer. Makes it easy. And then I can paint up all the little tassels and stuff that are on him here, and paint all that. So let me get started. Got my palette here. I have it from another model I was painting, but I'll use just this empty area over here. It's this area here. So I'm already going to get all my paints out. Saves me a little time. Alright, so before I get there, I just realized I have to do a little gold on his chest so that I can paint the red around that. So I'm going to hit the gold on these two spots, and then I'll be able to fill in everything else in a minute. And the gold is just Retributor armor. Yeah, I do. I use the texture tool. It's awesome to get the paint out of the pots. Alright, another trick. Get something you can hold and get some poster tack, blue tack, and put the miniature on there, nice and stable. And then hold on to that. It saves your hand a lot. So I'm going to move this a little bit so I can hold it a little bit better. So it's going to look very bright, but we're going to use a wash on this whole thing when we're done. And that's going to really tone down this, well, kind of tone down everything. But, yeah, you can see it's very bright. Now, the reason I use that texture tool is because it's a spatula. And it's a spatula that I can bend, which is perfect. There we go. And then I'm going to do that down here too on this. Although there's not really any reason you can do this after. I'm doing it now. Just so I can block it in. I believe this is phylactery. For keeping like some treasure or even a body part from a fallen comrade, which is a little weird on a new Marine, but you know, whatever. There. Now I'll switch to those reds now that that's done. There. You gotta be careful to make sure to get on there. I'm using a Winsor Newton Series 7 number 2 brush. Most of the time about 80%, but it's more of a feel than it is a like choice of what to do. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I'm in the right spot. There we go. It's weird. You get used to it after a while, trying to figure out what works for you. Yeah, it's usually about 80% paint, 20% water, but that's just off the top of my head. It's often not quite that. Yeah, it just takes practice. Yeah, you can even tell now it's not quite thin enough. So I'm gonna thin it out even more. Nice thing is you can make it kind of thin when you do it over white. Putting it over white also really helps to make sure that it's bright. You'll notice reds become a lot darker when you put them over black. There we go. Oh, there are tassels on his backpack. I didn't notice. There. Getting there. Alright, now I'm going to mix 50-50 of that corn red and Mephiston red. Now that I'm not worried about how detailed, I'm going to switch to a different kind of brush. So I'm kind of doing a wet brush on here. There we go. There. I will have more red to do later, but on his plume, but I'm not going to do any now. Although if I paint another one of these, it occurs to me I should do the white plume separate, and then... Whoops. Alright. Now, I'm going to do a black on the... I've actually got a black here. This is just a scale color flat black. I'm going to do that on the gun and on all of the cabling and stuff on his legs. Any black works, but I like flat blacks better than glossy. Especially on his gun here. Okay, so it looks like everything except the clip is black. I'll hold it by the strap here. Because with that amazing blue paint, the one thing I don't want to do is paint over it. Sorry, it's hard to stay in frame with the thing being so small. Alright, making sure it's all black where it needs to be. Cool. At that point I can actually glue it on. Because everything that is in the way is not quite in the way anymore. Nah, still not at that point. Dang it. Try to make it easy on yourself, but sometimes it ends up being more complicated. Okay, so I'm going to finish with that black. Try to get... When you use one paint, try to finish it up. That way you don't have to keep coming back to it. There we go. Now I'm going to finish up the golds and the metals. So I'm going to get out some lead Belcher, which is a Games Workshop metallic color. Make sure I actually have some. I don't think I have some. I'll be right back. So this is the lead Belcher. I'm going to put a bit on my palette. Probably won't end up using that much, but it's always good to put some on. A little more than you think you need. But after a while you get better at guessing. He's got like this lens thing. Yeah, the plume is gold, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm actually using the wrong thing for this. Let's switch to a different brush here quick. I'll reposition my camera so that I'm still in frame. Normally, with Space Marine armies, I don't do this much detail. But this is a force for me. So I'm going to take my time and actually hit all the little bits. Each model in this force is going to hold up really, really well. And this backpack, because I have to put the cape on, is not glued in. It's just tacked in. So I'll be able to glue it in later. All these vents are different. I made a couple of mistakes. One is almost negligible, the other one is a little obvious. We got a little metallic on this red. Well, that's something. Fortunately, I grabbed these over here. So it's actually really hard in this scheme to fix mistakes. But if you keep some of that magic blue around, or some of the darker blue, it dries a little dark. So if you see a mistake like this one, and just paint over it and it will dry up darker. So that helps a lot. Sorry, it's a little quiet for this part. It's just a lot of detail. When I paint detail, I try to focus and it stops me from talking. Trying to see what else I need to paint metal. And I don't see anything. Just a couple of things I gotta do to touch up. Oh, metal on the gun though. I will have to do that. Yeah, see, I tried a very nice matte black, the back of the shin, or the back of the knee and the elbow. Tried a very nice matte black. I'm gonna go back to the gold. This will really start blocking in a lot of the detail. Especially on the backpack with this iron halo. Trying to be careful to get underneath this. Slowly come together. This takes a lot of patience. Nate, I really messed up that head. Can't believe I did that, actually. Try to get rid of as much gold as I can by just brushing it away, thinning it out. I hate edge highlighting with a brush. I'm probably gonna have to do it just to fix up that mistake. It's okay, that brightened up the head a little bit. I gotta even it out on this side though. There we go. That's better. Hey, Iron-Headed. Doing some Ultramarines tonight. Wanted a break from the King of Death for a little bit. Doing a Primaris captain for my Ultramarines. What are you up to tonight? Cool. On both accounts. Need some more info on that, on the story though. I don't quite get it. Missed a little bit here, so I'm gonna go back in. There we go. So your friend got the job? Did he? Is that? Oh, gotcha. Yeah, the full-time work. That's the thing, is they need somebody full-time. It's that much work. And I can't do it. I wish I could, but it stressed me out too much. Trying to do that and commission work, it just doesn't work. No pun intended. It's no, you just can't do that much work all by yourself. And unfortunately, the GW job wouldn't let me. Like, I don't know, if they could just hire a bunch of people part-time, I think that would do it. Yeah, kind of me too, actually. It's going to be hard for them to find somebody to fit that job. Need somebody like fresh out of college or something, fresh out of high school even, with some painting skills that wants a decent job. That would do it. Some like college kid. That's the problem, is they're not going to be so reliable, so it's gonna be tricky for them. I'll click your link here in a second. There. Okay, making sure I've got all the gold done. Looks like a lot of detail work here, or decal work. I noticed on these fingers that the tips of them are red, so when you catch little mistakes like that, make sure you get them right away. I'm going to finish painting the sword, but after that I'm going to touch up those fingers. Another thing you can do with fingers, even though I'm trying to go from a nice highlight, a nice zenithal highlight, you can see the way it is, darker at the bottom and then the shadows. I want to highlight the fingers because they're a point of interest that you'd never notice, but that's really the only way to get detail in the fingers, especially on an armored figure, is to just paint them a little brighter than you would normally would. So I'm going to hit those in a second. Okay. So I'm going to hit a white, because it looks like there's something that is white. Actually, you know what? I might... No. Another thing you can do... I'll try to see if I can do it quick. I gotta paint this skull, but the skull is white. So actually I'm gonna paint it a gray, and then a tan, and then a white. So this is graphite from Scale Color. A light gray will do, any gray really. Just gonna thin it a tiny bit, not very much. And then you just make sure to fill it in. And we let that dry, and we'll come back to it. Okay, I'm actually going to take a silver now and hit that sword. So I'm going to use, again, Vallejo Model Air steel. But the steel, the chrome, the silver, they're all pretty close to each other. I'm actually going to take the time while I'm doing that to make sure that I do the eyes. So the eye right here, hit that, make it a little brighter. And especially the eye here, you got to be careful. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be pretty close. And then use the rest on this sword. Makes it really, it's a nice, quick, thin layer. Gets the job done. Goes on really smooth. And then I'll see if I can make this into a power sword. Although what I might do is actually airbrush it. We'll see. Probably not. I'm going to try hand brushing it. Do a more traditional power sword like on the box. So I'm trying to avoid the gold bits that I painted already. It's not hard to go back and change that, but there we go. Nice and bright. With the eye, I do want more shadowing than I got, so I'm going to go back in with a really dark blue. Or try to, anyway. Just the very bottom. There. There, you can see that eye a little bit better. Now that gray is actually dry, so I'm going to switch to a lighter color, which is this nectar that I've used before. Also from Scale Color. Painting white's tricky, but it's not so hard when you know how to layer. I didn't thin it quite enough. Thin it a little more and then I'll move this around properly. There we go. There we go. I don't know. I got the whole set iron-headed, so I don't know if it is if it is in the black and white set. But you should find a comparable pair of colors in that set, as far as I remember. There's another reason for that steel. Is this phylactery. Alright, now I'm going to do a... see what I did on the other one. Nope, I did a regular Mornfang brown on the pouches before, so I'm going to do that again. I think I must have used a Doombulb brown or something else for the lighter brown. But either way, I'm using Mornfang this time. This is actually a pretty thinned out paint compared to most, so I'm just going to go straight out of the pot, especially for these straps here. Although you could use a Rhinox hide, you're not going to see this much underneath his bolt arm, his bolt gun arm, so I'm not too worried about it. This is more for the pouch, his holster over here. There we go. I think he's pretty close to being done. The only thing missing is that plume, but... Oh, and it is. Okay, I didn't notice this. He actually has a strapped-on pistol holster rather than one that's built into his armor. It's literally strapped on, so... Get that pinned up really quick. Yeah, thanks, Ironheaded. Yeah, I don't notice when I'm focusing on the work. Wish I could have something that would buzz at me when I went off camera. Alright, here's those fingers I was talking about. Just a little bit brighter than their counterparts. Alright, just to give them a little more detail. Do the same on the knuckles on the other side. It's not a big thing, but it does help. While I'm at it, I'll do the same on the gun arm. Just hit these segments. Oops. If I don't knock the camera over. There we go. Okay, I'm going to double check him and then I'm going to make sure the arm is good. Yeah, I haven't decided. I just wanted to paint one. There are probably much better ways of doing the loadouts. I won't know until the codex comes out. But I figure I can group this guy next to a... Yeah, I don't mind power fists, but I'm focusing more on shooting than anything else. So I just want to pair this guy up next to my Hellblasters so that I have something to do rather than just sitting back and doing nothing. And mostly for the rerolls to hit. Because I really like overcharging my Hellblasters. Yep. That's what he's for. He's not for the punching. I'll have somebody else for that. I'm doing that same gray on the Ultramarine symbol. Save the Hellblasters as in use him to save them, or don't use them. I still like them. There. Nice gray. And then he's a captain, so I need to give him a nice red on this skull. Same red I've been using, but a little bit brighter to start out. Want it to be very visible. Yep. Gilliman, once I've gotten all my force painted, Gilliman's going to be the last thing, but I've got him. He'll be painted. I'll probably paint up an extra one, too, to sell off, but it's an awesome model. Awesome rules for him, too. Okay. Missing a little bit of blue from one of these. Gotta pour a little bit more out. It's actually not as hot in this room as I thought it was, so I'm going to turn the fan off. That way my pallet doesn't dry out as fast as it is. Yep, he's really, really good. Plus, with the Ultramarine Chapter tactics, it's kind of absurd. Alright, I believe he's ready. Anything that's not ready, I can paint separate. Actually, you know what? That reminds me, I gotta paint this plume. If I'm working with the gray to get that white to be bright, I'm gonna do the same thing on the plume. Just a spot of gold on the plume, too. Yeah, being able to shoot after you fall back, yeah, that helps a lot. There was no point to falling back with a vehicle before. Okay. So I'm going to paint the gun now. There's not a lot I have to paint on it, actually. It's just the strap and the clip, the ammo catch. Not too much to paint. Actually, that paint's a little thick. Yep, exactly. That's the point. Yep, charge them, hit them in close combat so they can't shoot on their turn, and then on your turn fall back and shoot them again, and then charge them again. Well, you won't be able to do that twice. You won't be able to charge as well, but you'll be able to shoot. So tie up their tanks for a turn and then shoot them again. Yep. Alright, I'm looking at my other guy here for comparison. And he gets a fresh bit of lead Belcher. Yeah, there's a reason I'm doing Ultramarines. I'm just waiting for all the Pop Goes the Monkey Ultramarines shoulder bits. I actually ordered enough for 11 chapters. So you'll see me painting a lot of Space Marines here on this stream. I got, what is it? Ultramarines, Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Size of the Emperor, Blood Ravens, Space Wolves, White Scars. Figured out the White Scars scheme last night. Blood Ravens, like the 11 chapters total. It's a lot. It's gonna be a lot of fun though. I like them. I've ordered some for my Heresy era stuff. And I like it. It's not perfect. It's still 3D printed. But it's really nicely 3D printed. Like, they didn't use the regular, like... They used, like, the resin bath printer. They didn't use the cheaper filament ones with the spool. So... they seem to know what they're doing. But you'll see him here in a couple weeks when I start the Ultramarines en masse. Probably going to be ordering some Aggressors and some Reavers this week. I don't think the Dreadnought's going to come out right away, but I don't even know yet. I went down to the GW store to find out, but I couldn't figure it out. And even if I could find out, I couldn't tell you. I'm just hoping. Alright, I'm going to glue it on now. It'll make it easier for me to paint if it's glued on. Yep. Yeah, I'm really waiting for the dreadnought, Mr. Pregnant Pants. Like, the thing is so weird, but I love it. I love that new dreadnought. I shouldn't, but I do. There we go. Once it took me a while to figure out my scheme for Ultramarines, but yeah, yeah, yep, that dreadnought, I like it. I shouldn't like it, but I do. Yeah, somebody made a post on I'm sure there was one on Spiky Bits, but I don't think that's the one I saw. But yeah, with the new Salamanders one, it is nice that Salamanders get rerolls like one per squad, which is awesome. So if you get that Melta shot that you really wanted to work, or a las cannon shot, and it just didn't work, then you can reroll it. That's pretty awesome, without spending your command points. That's nice. Yeah. Yeah, I have the same problem with dice rolls. I'll show you my salamanders. Give me a second. Let me pause, and then I'll show you my salamanders. Okay, so here are my salamanders. It's a nice green theme. Same principle. I'll show you the color recipe here. It's literally the GW1, but with some cool airbrush technique. So it's Warpstone Glow as the base color, but you do that on top of a burnt umber undercoat, and then you go back in with some burnt umber, and then to make sure the shading is good, and then some moot green. But the key is the oil wash that I'm about to do to this Ultramarine captain that I'll show you in a minute. So yeah, he turned out really nice. He's not completely done, but I figured out the scheme at least. It's actually a brighter green in person, but it's more nitty gritty than the standard one. Yep, oil washes. I'll show you in a second. I'm almost done with the captain. Just gotta make sure everything that I can paint is painted. You know what? I'm probably gonna fix the or finish the plume, and then all the other stuff too before I get too ahead of myself. But let me find the lid to my plastic glued. Might help. All right. So let me get out a white now. This is just white from Scale Color. It's hard to see, I know. It's just white. Yeah, I'll show you how I do my oil washes here in a minute. I have to actually completely paint this mini before I do the oil wash, so. Alright, switching brushes again. Making sure my white's not too thick. Oh, I literally just mix it every time I need it. I don't store it. Alright, so I'm just going to do all white, and then I'll go some red. You can see how it still shows some of the gray. Yeah, I don't know. I have to make sure my consistency is right in my oil washes before I do it. So it all depends on the Mini. And then I can go figure it out based on the model as I go. So I might have to do 2 coats of white, but this way it doesn't overpower anything on the plume. Because I don't want it completely white, I want to show some detail. I'll probably have to come back in with the white after the oil wash, but for now, it's not too overpowering. Same on the skull down here. Now I need the other brush. Yeah, it kind of does. Maybe. Let me change. Maybe go like that. No. That's too much. And go like that. It's very in focus. But I have to hold it pretty close. Yeah, I still haven't figured out the lighting quite correctly yet for a majority of the painting. It used to be really good, but I don't know what I changed. I haven't been able to figure out how to change it back. Most of it, too, is the lack of a decent camera. Webcams just don't cut it for close range work. Oh yeah, that's because it's the light is literally directly above the miniature. I haven't changed it because it actually simulates what I see, so it's actually pretty close to the way it actually looks. No, it's just right out of frame to where it's over my right shoulder. So you see the glow, but it's not actually behind me. Okay. Okay, I think we're good. Not really. The lights are the same. The camera's the same. The camera might be in a slightly different position, but not enough to really do anything. Yep. I could try to bring this up a little bit. Come on. There. Nah, it just doesn't want to stay up. Maybe that's a little better for a soft light. Yeah, that's way better. What do you say? Yeah, I still haven't found a good stream time. This seems to work for me, but you know, if other people want to watch other stuff, that's totally up to them. That's the problem, is most people are available to watch. Yeah, most people are available to watch at the same time every night. So if I have to compete with other people, then I just do. I mean, alright. I am missing one thing, which is the purity seal, which is just a little bit here. So I gotta paint that. So now I know that was my problem, is I've got to have the light more overall. The easiest thing for purity seals is flayed one flesh. And I say that because it goes on really quick, and just with one coat, even over black. And then once you get a wash on it, it's fine. Yep, exactly. Hey, AV6 Scott, thank you very much for the host. I appreciate that. Just finishing up Primaris Captain. I gotta give him a little bit of time to dry. And then I have to put a coat of matte varnish on him and then do an oil wash. So I'm putting some finishing touches on this layer before I have to go to that. Right now I'm putting silver on the lenses. And then I'm going to paint him. Hey, Spartan Painting. Thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate that. See you later, Iron-Headed. Have a good night. Oops. Hitting my camera. There we go. Yep, a matte varnish. Yep. A matte varnish so that I... Yep. No, it's to cover the... Because it's... I use a very thin oil wash. And I like to work it in to the model. It's to protect it so I don't get rid of the paint that I just put on the model. So I always do a matte varnish to protect it. Makes a difference. I missed one thing in the backpack too earlier. There we go. Yeah, I just use matte. But I like a matte look to everything, so it suits me better. But you'll see in a second. Just gotta let that purity seal dry and then I can do that. The oil wash. So actually, while it's drying, I'll get all my stuff out. Alright, so I've already painted all the base colors, but the thing that'll really bring this together is an oil wash. So I've got a couple of things that I have to do. First one is ultramarine blue, which I felt was very appropriate. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this, just the very end of this, put it in my bowl here. I'll switch around to that actually, so you can see it better. So just a little bit, that's just my reservoir for where I'm going to get all my color. So, and then I've got, it's in a different bottle, but I'm using some, yes, hey Shoshi, thank you. Yeah, I saw that. I'm using some mineral spirits. This is not Tester's airbrush thinner. Yeah, it worked, Shoshi, I got it. I saw it on my end. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Alright. So now I take some of that mineral spirits. Put a little bit, you can't really see it down here, but I'm going to put some down here. And then take a little bit of that blue. And there you can start to see it. I'll switch back over to the other one. Well, then you can see, I'm just doing this on the blue armor, but it adds a lot of color. The only downside is I got to avoid all those nice things that I painted. Just on the blue armor. The next one is going to be a burnt umber, and I'll do that on just the metal. And well, actually, that one I'll do on everything. Come to think of it, but this one just gives it a nice brighter blue, and it doesn't take too long to dry either, because of the mineral spirits. So I ran out already. I'll have to just make some more. Doesn't take very long. I'm doing it this way so I can control how much I have. Some people make it in like a bunch, I don't see any reason to do that. It'll vary depending on the project, and the consistency will vary depending on the project, so... See, I'm trying to get the blue on everything. But only everything that's blue. There we go. You can see it really does enhance that color. Yeah, see you later, Shoshi. Thank you so much for the host again. That's awesome. It'll be nice seeing you at Gen Con in about a month. Alright, almost done. I just gotta do his head. Hey, Strokes of Chaos Minis. Thank you very much for the follow.
Hello, Dodo.
Oh, Dodo's here too. Yep, Smurfs. Just finishing up. Depends on if I have time. I might paint the base, though.
You should do it.
Should do what?
Paint the base.
Paint the base? We shall see. I hope so. I like getting minis completely done, not baseless. There we go. Alright, now I gotta let him dry. And then I'm going to do a burnt umber oil wash, which is this. Just get any cheap burnt umber. Hey, Zimoon. The Zimoon. Thank you very much for the follow. It takes me so long to figure out your guys' names. But they're very inventive, which I appreciate. Actually, I do not know why I'm getting out more thinner when I can't put anything on there. So I'll do the burnt umber wash here in a minute. Alright, this oil wash is going to be over the whole thing. This makes it nitty gritty, darkens it up in nice ways without getting rid of all the color we put on. It really adds a lot to it. Especially you can see it on this like pouch down here. And it tends to pool in ways that normal washes just don't. Or you can spill thinner all over your desk. That works too. Alright, so the wash is dry. I'm going to try something on this sword though here in a second. I'm going to do some like spiderweb cracks from this top part. This is a very small brush, by the way. I have to give it enough room because I have to paint back inside it. Which is a little crazy. Nope, I don't like it. Nope, don't like it at all. Figure out a way to do the color properly. With an airbrush. Probably what I'll end up doing is just covering the whole model and then airbrushing just the sword to get it to the way I like it. So, I guess that's good for now. So now that it's pretty dry, I'm going to glue on the cape. I have this blue tack in the back just to hold it on. Don't need that anymore. Clean that out. I did that so that I didn't have to worry about the cape, because it's very clean compared to everything else. little tricky to get out, though. Don't have to get all of it, though. Okay. I do have to get it off here, though. Alright. There we go. And the spot bugged me when I was painting. This one missing spot on the gold. There we go.
Are you all done with the oil wash?
Yeah, you missed the oil wash, Iron-Headed. It's all done. Unfortunately. You missed the spill, too. There we go. Proper captain. There we go, and I'll do the sword and the base separately, and I'll have to do highlights on the metal and some weathering on the gun and stuff like that. But for the most part, he's done.